So, welcome to the next problem on analysis of trusses using stiffness matrix method. In this problem, we will study if a spring support is provided in the truss, how to account that spring support in the analysis. Okay? So, the statement of problem is determine displacements in 2-bar truss as shown in figure using stiffness matrix method. So we have to determine the displacements in the 2-bar truss. The stiffness of spring is K is equal to 2000 kilonewton per meter. The stiffness of the spring is given to you 2000 kilonewton per meter. It is equal to 200 GPa. And A is equal to 5 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter square. Now please understand, the stiffness of spring is given 2000 kilonewton per meter. Area is given in meter square. Dimensions of bar, trusses, elements are given in meter. So all dimensions are given in meter. And E is equal to 200 GPa. GPa means kilonewton per mm square. So instead of converting other dimensions in mm, it is always better to convert E into kilonewton per meter square. When we calculate AE by L term, at that time we will convert E into kilonewton per meter square. Okay? So this is the figure given to you. 2-bar truss. The member numbers are given to you in the figure. This is member number 1 and this is member number 2. Node numbers are also given to you. Node number 1, node number 2, node number 3. So node numbers and member numbers are given in the figure. Length of member 1 5 meter, length of member 2 10 meter. So length of member is also given. Okay. So let's start the solution of problem using stiffness matrix method. Very first step, now like previous problems, identify total number of degrees of freedom. Total degrees of freedom. So total degrees of freedom are equal to total number of joints. Total number of joints into 2. 2 represent at each joint of the truss there are 2 unknowns, horizontal displacement and vertical displacement. So 3 joints, 1, 2, 3, each joint having 2 unknowns. So total degrees of freedom are equal to 6. Total degrees of freedom are equal to 6. Now out of these 6 unknowns, since support or node joint 2 and joint 3 are fixed supports, we know that if support is fixed, there is no horizontal displacement, there is no vertical displacement. Both the displacements are 0. So out of 6, 4 displacements are 0. 0 displacement means it is also called as boundary conditions. Okay? So out of 6, 4 are 0. It means size of reduced stiffness matrix will be 2 by 2. Size of reduced stiffness matrix will be 2 by 2. Now let's show the unknown displacements in the figure. At node 1, let us assume U1 V1. At node 2, U2 V2, and at node 3, U3, V3. Out of these 6 unknowns, U2, V2 and U3, V3 are 0 because of fixed support. It means finally non-zero displacements are U1, V1, which we have to determine. U1, V1. U1, V1 are the final unknown displacements. So these two displacements represent, there are two final unknowns. Size of the stiffness matrix 2 by 2. Okay, so this is first step. Write down total degrees of freedom, write down 0 degrees of freedom, and then write down size of reduced stiffness matrix. Okay, now step number 2, to calculate direction cosines small l and small m, which is used to calculate the element or member stiffness matrices. So step number 2, direction cosines. Direction cosines means small l and small m. That is, L is equal to cos theta and M is equal to sin theta. Okay, so it is better to prepare one table. First column represent member 1 and member 2, 1 and 2. Then AE by L. Second column represent AE by L calculation. So AE by L calculation for member 1. Member 1. Now E is given in GPa. So we have to convert that GPa into kilonewton per meter square. GPa means kilonewton per mm square, and now we have to convert that into kilonewton per meter square. It means 200 multiplied by 10 raised to 6 is the value of E in kilonewton per meter square. So A by L for member 1 is equal to area 5 into 10 raised to minus 4 into E 200 GPa given. GPa means kilonewton per mm square. If you want to convert it into meter square, then we have to multiply by 10 raised to 6. It becomes meter square. So this E is equal to 200 into 10 raised to 6 kilonewton per meter square. So A by L for member 1, area is 5 into 10 raised to minus 4 into E 200 into 10 raised to 6 divided by L. L of member 1 is 5 meter. So it is 5. This 5 will get cancelled. This 10 raised to minus 4 into 10 raised to 6. Answer is equal to 200 minus 4 plus 6. Answer is plus 2. 200 into 10 raised to 2 is the value of A by L for member 1. 200 into 10 raised to 2. Right? Now similarly for member 2. Member 2 area is same, E is same, only length will change. For member 2, this is equal to 10. This is equal to 10. So answer will be 100 into 10 raised to 2. A by L for member 2. Okay, so this is second column. Now next column is theta. What is theta? Theta is measured with respect to positive x-axis in anti-clockwise sense about node number 1. Right? Please remember this statement of how the angle theta is measured. Angle theta is measured in anti-clockwise sense with respect to positive x-axis about node number 1. Right? So for member 1, member 1 is inclined. Joint number 1, joint number 2. So first show the positive x-axis. Now how the angle theta is measured? In anti-clockwise sense with respect to positive x-axis. So if you take node number 1 as the first node, this is theta. And if you take joint number 2 as the first node, this is theta. If you take node number 1 as the first node, this is theta. If you take joint number 2 as the first node, this is theta. Okay? So, in this problem, we will take node number 1 as the first node. We will take theta about node number 1. We will take theta about node number 1. This 45 degree is given to you. 45 degree is given to you. So if this is 45, this theta is equal to 135 degree. Theta is equal to 135 degree. Now for this member 1, first joint is node number 1 and second joint is 2. Understand? First and then second. Okay? So theta equal to 135. Now member 2. Member 2 is horizontal. Member 2 is horizontal. Show the positive x-axis. Show the positive x-axis at both nodes. Now with respect to positive x-axis, if you take node 3 as the first node, theta is equal to 0 in anti-clockwise sense. Theta is equal to 0. And if you take node number 1 as the first node, then theta is equal to theta is equal to 180 degree. Okay? So if you take 3, node 3 as the first joint, theta equal to 0. If you take joint 1 as the first node, theta equal to 180 degree. So here we will take joint 1 as the first joint. So theta is equal to 180 degree and member is defined as one, 3. Understand how the member is written. Member 1 is 1-2. 1-2 means node number 1 is the first node and then 2 is the second node. Member 2 is 1-3. 1-3 means again node number 1 is the first node and 3 is the second node. Why I am telling this? Because when we write down the steepness matrix K1 and K2, we know that unknowns of node number 1 are first two columns and unknowns of node number 2 are remaining two columns. And that's why it is very important to understand which is first node and which one is second node. And how to decide that? The angle theta we are always measuring with respect to first node. Okay? Now already we have discussed, but I will repeat again. If you face any difficulty in the angle calculation, there is an alternate method to calculate small l and small m. Okay? So we'll see that alternate method also again in this problem. Already we have discussed in the previous problem, but I will repeat in this problem also. So if you use theta calculation, theta is 135 degree for first member, 180 degree for second member, then direction cosines L and M are L is equal to cos theta. So cos 135 is 0.707, and in second member cos of 180 degree is equal to -1. Similarly, M is equal to sin theta. Sin of 135 is equal to -0.707, and sin of 180 is equal to 0. So this is L and M for first member. This is L and M for second member. Now we'll see that alternate method to calculate small n and small m. So this is R2 theta, right? If you have any problem in theta calculation, you can use this method. So small l is equal to x2 minus x1 upon L, and m is equal to y2 minus y1 upon L. x2 minus x1 upon L and y2 minus y1 upon L. Okay? So what is x2 minus x1? Now if you look at the given truss, here we have to assume the origin. First, origin means first we have to assume the global coordinate system, that is xy coordinate system, right? First we have to assume xy coordinate system. So if you assume joint number 3 as the first origin, this is origin. So horizontal axis is x, and vertical axis is y. Now with respect to this origin, now coordinates of joints are, since it is origin, coordinates of joint 3 are 0, 0. Coordinates of joint 3 are 0, 0. Coordinates of joint 1. Joint 1 lies on x-axis. Joint 1 lies on x-axis. So x coordinate is 10 and y coordinate is 0. Coordinates of joint number 2. X coordinate is this. This is x coordinate. Okay? So that we have to calculate. So this distance, if you draw one vertical line from node 2, you will get one triangle using this 45 and this diagonal 5 meter. You can calculate this length. Okay, total is 10. Total is 10. If you assume this length is equal to x1, so this distance is equal to 10 minus x1. 10 minus x1. So this is equal to, if you calculate this now using that triangle, this is adjacent side, means if you use cos of 45, cos of 45 is equal to adjacent side divided by diagonal 5 meter. So x1 is equal to cos 45 into 5 x1 is equal to 3.535 meter. Okay, and this distance is equal to 10 minus, so 10 minus, it is 6.464. 6.465 meter, that distance. So now, with respect to this origin, coordinates of 2 are 6.465, that is x coordinate. Okay, and now y coordinate means the distance. Y coordinate means this vertical distance. So sin 45 is equal to, let us assume this is y1 upon diagonal is 5. So y1 is equal to, it is same, it is 45. So 3.535. Okay, so with respect to origin O, these are the coordinates 0, 0, 10, 0. 0, 0 are the coordinates of joint number 3. Then 10, 0. Coordinates of joint 1, and 6.465 and 3.535 are the coordinates of joint number 2. Okay, so this x1 y1 you can use to calculate this, right? Now one more thing, now if you want to use now your member number 1, suppose member 1, okay, so joint number 2 is having these coordinates, joint number 1 is having 10, 0. Okay, how the member is defined? Member is 1, 2. If it is 1, 2, it means joint number 1 is the first joint number 2 is the second joint. So coordinates of joint number 1 are x1, y1. Coordinates of joint number 1 are x1, y1, and coordinates of 2 are x2, y2. Coordinates of joint number 1 are x1, y1, and coordinates of joint number 2 are x2, y2. Okay, so x2 minus x1, x2 is 6.465 and x1 is 10. x2 minus x1, right? So 6.465 minus 10, it is minus 3.353. x2 minus x1. Understand? We have defined member as a 1, 2. It means Coordinates of 1 are x1, y1 and coordinates of 2 are x2, y2. So coordinates of 2 minus coordinates of 1 means x2 minus x1 and y2 minus y1. So coordinates of 2 are 6.465 minus 10. Answer is minus 353. This is only x2 minus x1. Then y2 minus y1. 3.535 minus 0. It is 3.535 divided by L. Divided by L. x2 minus x1 upon L and y2 minus y1 upon L. So this is the calculation. 3.353 upon 5 if you calculate. You get this is minus 0.707. Minus 0.707 and this is plus 0.707. This is also a reverse actually. This is not minus, this is minus and this is plus. Cos of 135 is minus and sin of 135 is plus. Please make note it. Cos of 135 is minus, sin of 135 is plus. Same answer we got by x2 minus x1 upon L and y2 minus y1 upon L. Okay. Now in the second member, horizontal member we have written 1, 3. It means coordinates of joint number 1 are x1, y1 and coordinates of joint 3 are x2, y2. It means x2 minus x1 and y2 minus y1 means coordinates of 3 minus coordinates of 1. So 0, 0 minus 10. 0 minus 10. It is minus 10. 0 minus 10, it is minus 10. And 0 minus 0. It is 0. Length of second member. Length is 10. So x2 minus x1 upon L and y2 minus y1 upon L. Okay. So what is the answer final? This is minus 1. Minus 1. And this is 0. So understand now. This is alternate method. x2 minus x1 upon L and y2 minus y1 upon L is the alternate method to angle theta. But you can understand now what is the length or time required to calculate x2 minus x1 and y2 minus y1. We have to select the origin, then we have to write down coordinates, then we have to take x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1 and then we will get L and M. It is always simple to use angle calculation for small l and small m. Okay? And please understand that 135 degree cos of 135 is minus and sin of 135 is plus. Okay? Previously in earlier we have written it was reverse. Now it is corrected. Cos of 135 is minus, sin of 135 is plus. Okay? So this is calculation of small l and small m, direction cosines. I always recommend to use the angle theta to calculate small l and small m instead of x2 minus x1 and y2 minus y1. Okay. So this is step number 2, important part. Next steps are very simple now. Now step number 3 is member stiffness matrices. Member stiffness matrices. So for member 1, L is equal to minus 0.707 and N is equal to plus 0.707. So using this L and M and the standard stiffness matrix of truss, Standard stiffness matrix of truss K is equal to L square Lm minus L square minus Lm. This stiffness matrix, already we have solved 2-3 problems. Now you can understand using the standard stiffness matrix and put the value of A by L outside the matrix and L and M. If you perform that L square Lm multiplications, you will get K1 like this. This is K1 for member 1 and this is K2 for member 2. Outside it is A by L and using this L and M for member 1 and minus 1 0 for member 2, you will get the two stiffness matrices. Okay. One more important point, now you know that on the top and right of stiffness matrix we have to write down corresponding displacement. So member 1 means it is represented 1 2. Joint number 1 is the first joint, joint number 2 is the second joint. Okay. So unknowns of joint 1 are first two columns and unknowns of joint 2 are remaining two columns. Unknowns of joint 1 are U1 V1. So U1 V1 first two columns, U2 V2 remaining two columns. Similarly U1 V1 first two rows, U2 V2 remaining two rows. Second member we have represented by 1 3. Means again 1 is the first joint, 3 is the second joint. Unknowns of 1 are first two columns, unknowns of 3 remaining two columns. So unknowns of 1 means U1 V1 and unknowns of 3 U3 V3. U1 V1 first two columns, U3 V3 remaining two columns. Similarly U1 V1 first two rows, U3 V3 remaining two rows. So step number 3, complete member stiffness matrices. Okay. Now after this K1 K2, step number 4 is reduced stiffness matrix. Reduced stiffness matrix. Reduced stiffness matrix means after imposing the boundary conditions. We know that boundary condition joint number 2 and joint number 3 are fixed. If joints are fixed, there are no displacement. So joint number 2 is fixed. It means U2 V2 are 0. If U2 V2 are 0, eliminate rows and columns corresponding to U2 V2 from K1. Since U2 V2 are 0, eliminate rows and columns corresponding to U2 V2 from the K1. Similarly, since U3 V3 are 0, because of fixed support U3 V3 are 0. Eliminate rows and columns corresponding to U3 V3 from K2. So remaining stiffness matrix is corresponding to only U1 V1 in both the matrices. So this is U1 V1 2 by 2 and this is U1 V1 2 by 2. Now we have to add these two for the final reduced stiffness matrix K is equal to. So K is equal to corresponding to U1 V1, U1 V1. So first element, this minus 0.5 U1 combination, U1 0.5 into 200, that is 100 into 10 raised to 2 plus 1 into 100 into 10 raised to 2, 1 into 100 into 10 raised to 2 plus 200 into 0.5 into 10 raised to 2. Answer is 20,000. First element. Then second element, V1 U1 combination, V1 U1 minus 0.5 into 200 into 10 raised to 2. In second matrix it is 0. So minus 0.5 into 200 into 10 raised to 2. Answer is minus 10,000. Since the stiffness matrix is a symmetric matrix, this element and this element is same because it is symmetric. And last element V1 combination in first matrix 0.5 into 200 into 10 raised to 2 plus in second matrix it is 0 again. So this last element is 200 into 10 raised to 2 into 0.5. It is plus 10,000. This is the reduced stiffness matrix for given truss. Okay. Now understand, still this stiffness matrix is not over because we have not taken into account yet the effect of spring support. Now we have to consider the spring. Now just imagine the spring. Spring is provided at joint 1. So because of this 40 kilonewton load, spring will compress. Compress means it will compress vertically downward. So at joint 1, which displacement is corresponding to deformation of spring? That is, vertical displacement of joint 1 is corresponding to deformation of spring. So compression of spring is equal to V1. V1 is nothing but displacement corresponding to spring. So since vertical displacement, spring will vertically compress, the vertical deformation of spring is V1. We have to add stiffness of spring in the element corresponding to V1. Okay, please understand. Since spring is compressed vertically downward, it will deform vertically. The displacement corresponding to spring is V1 and the stiffness of spring we have to add in the element corresponding to V1 means which element? In this element we have to add stiffness of spring. So reduced stiffness matrix will be equal to so this element is equal to, now it is 10,000 originally, 10,000 plus stiffness of spring is given 2000 kilonewton per meter stiffness of spring. So this 10,000 plus this 2000 stiffness of spring, it is 12,000. Okay. So this is how we have to add the stiffness of spring in the stiffness matrix element. Now understand, instead of vertical spring, if the spring is provided horizontally, if the spring is horizontal, if a spring is provided horizontally, it means spring will deform horizontally. If it is deformed horizontally, means it is corresponding to horizontal displacement at joint number 1. What is horizontal displacement at joint number 1? U1. So that stiffness of spring will be added in U1 element. It means in this element. If it is horizontal, stiffness of spring is added here. U1. Now since it is vertical, it is added in V1 element. Okay, please understand this. So now this is K is over. This is final stiffness matrix. So what is last step is compatibility condition. What is compatibility condition? K into delta is equal to F. K into delta is equal to F. What is K? This is K. This is K. K into delta. Into delta. U1 V1 equal to F. First displacement is horizontal displacement at joint number 1. Corresponding force is horizontal force at joint number 1. Is there any horizontal force at joint 1? No. It is 0. Similarly, second displacement is V1. Vertical displacement at joint 1. Corresponding force is vertical force at joint number 1. There is a 40 kilonewton downward means minus 40. So if you solve these two equations, two unknowns now, you will get finally U1 V1. Okay? So if you solve it, U1 is equal to U1 is equal to minus 2.857 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter, and V1 is equal to minus 5.714 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter. Both the answers are minus, means horizontal displacement is towards left and vertical displacement is downward. Okay? So please understand now from this problem, if you want to account the effect of spring, how to consider the stiffness of spring in the reduced stiffness matrix, where in which element we have to add it. If it is a vertical spring, it is added in a vertical displacement element. If it is a horizontal spring, it is added in horizontal displacement element. Okay? So with this your analysis of truss using stiffness matrix is over. Okay? This is all about unit number 3. Now in the next class, we will start the unit number 4, that is stiffness matrix method for continuous beams. Okay? Thank you.